Friday Night Fever.
Where is the enthusiasm? Where is the love?
Let's bring it up.
We got the Rattlers here. Now that's what we're talking about.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final, believe it or not, Friday Night Fever edition for the year 2002. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it's the final one. These high school kids keep looking older.
They're getting bigger and bigger,
single
too,
week.
if you can believe it.
Look at these guys. Busting curfew tonight. Of course, we have the Arizona Rattlers with us tonight. The Sidewinders cheerleaders are going to be joining us a little bit later. So our final edition is going to be a lot of fun. We don't have any game highlights to show you tonight, but we do have a lot of hardware to hand out, Kevin.
And that's good news. Right now, we want to begin with a look at the big matchup tomorrow in the 5A. For that, we call in our expert, Mr. Coop.
Come on in, Coop.
How are you, buddy?
That's right. We're talking Ironwood, Mountain View, finesse versus power, offense versus defense. Of course, this time of year, they say defense is what wins out. Of course, that would favor Mountain View, but just don't try selling that to Ironwood.
Their defense gets all of the attention, but Mountain View quarterback Max Hall has quietly gotten better and better with each passing week. In fact, his play is a big reason why the Toros offense is peaking at just the right time.
It's just been a new offense for us to learn this year, and the more games we play, the more better we get at it. We've made a couple personnel changes, and we found a mixture that's been working good for us.
11 hats to the ball. They're aggressive, they're relentless. They own the most dominating defense in the state. And because of that, the Mountain View Toros are in position to win their 8th state championship title.
The coaches prepare us really well. We go over our techniques, and we just play Toro football. We try to play like the old teams used to play.
I think the tradition is a big plus for us. A lot of these young men have had brothers or know people that have been in championship games and can relate to the situation, and hopefully we can play and excel well.
Now, no one's been able to solve the Mountain View defense all season long, but here at Ironwood, the high-scoring Eagles, featuring their three-headed monster of quarterback Jason Murrieta, running back Aaron Lafitte, and tight end Corey Jenkins, feel that they're the team for the job.
Just because we believe in ourselves. Our offense is so confident that if the run game's not there, the pass game's will be there. If the pass game's not there, the run game's will be there.
We're on the positive side of this game for a simple fact we know we can beat. If we stay together, we can beat any team in the state. Simple as that.
Now a lot of teams are intimidated by Mountain View, their deep tradition, their deep history, and Ironwood, surprisingly, is not intimidated one bit. Matter of fact, they expect to win tomorrow evening.
All right, we're going to open it up right now. A little roundtable discussion about this 5A final tomorrow. Cedric Bonner of the Rattlers, who's covered a lot of the games for Cox Cable, done a lot of the play-by-play, and Paul Matthews of the Republic, who has been to a lot of games as well. And guys, Kevin, we've been waiting all year for this final game, and I think we got a pretty good matchup.
We do indeed. Senator, let me ask you about Mountain View's defense. This team is phenomenal. Opposing teams are only averaging 2 points. They've only given up roughly 26 points and 3 touchdowns all year long. What is Ironwood going to have to do to get past this defense?
Well, right now, Ironwood, looking from their standpoint, they're very confident. They've been an underdog throughout the playoffs, so they've gradually gotten better. Murrieta's been awesome, but this defense is so disciplined, and their best athletes are in the secondary, which is usually your last line of defense. So, they're so disciplined and talented, fast. They run to the ball well. They hit you in the mouth. I mean, it's going to be tough for Ironwood, but like I said, they've been able to gain some confidence, and they're looking to win.
We're looking at one of the reasons why I really feel that Ironwood has a chance in this ballgame. I mean, they beat the preseason #1 favorite to win it all, Desert Vista. They beat undefeated South Point. They beat undefeated Mountain Ridge. This Ironwood football team has 3 of the best players at their position of any player in the state. I mean, Murrieta is just absolutely uncanny. His poise,
especially when he gets out of the pocket.
Right, his ability to throw on the run is just phenomenal. And that's one thing that Mountain View does well. They get after the quarterbacks, but this kid can make you pay by trying to pressure a quarterback.
And Paul, another thing that's interesting, we have the great tradition of Mountain View, but with a new coach this year who's really had a seamless transition and, led that phenomenal season and great defense.
And that's a great point. Bernie Buskin is out after last year's incidents, with the pink bellies and the abuse of the players and so on. So who do we bring back in? We bring back in Tom Joseph. And who says a nice guy can't win? Tom Joseph comes in, he gets these players fired up to play every single week.
All right, good stuff, fellas. We're going to do it again for the 5A a little bit later on, but the 4A matchup is coming up next.
Yeah, also coming up, we're going to reveal this year's winners for Friday Night Fever and the Arizona Rattlers players and coaches of the year. Who will it be? Stick around to find out. Friday Night Fever's coming right back.
Friday Night Fever.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We've analyzed and looked at the big 5A matchup, but what about the 4A? Another great game.
Kevin, this one might be even better. Greenway versus Chaparral, the 4A final tomorrow. Let's bring in the guy that's covered a lot of 4A games, Paul Matthews.
How's it going?
Welcome back, Paul. And is good on the field as it looks on paper, do you anticipate?
I tell you what, these are two really evenly matched teams. We talked earlier in the season about this growing rivalry between the East and the West Side schools here. And what are we finding out? We're finding out that Chaparral and Greenway are really bridged that gap. Greenway's really bridged that gap. Last year, Greenway tops Chaparral, kicks him out of the playoff, ending a 2-year streak for the state title. This year, the only loss Greenway suffered was at the hands of Chaparral. Going into the playoffs, though, couldn't ask for a better matchup. Chaparral and Greenway have plenty of scores to settle Saturday. Chaparral has won 6 of 7 against Greenway. Last season, the Demons knocked Chaparral out of the playoffs with a 1-point win in overtime. This year, Chaparral handed Greenway its only loss, 21-14.
Oh yeah, we don't like this school.
Both offenses are loaded with firepower. 6'4" junior quarterback Darren Muji leads the Firebirds.
And we're going to have to be fundamentally sound all over the field, offensively, defensively, special teams. I mean, we don't have any room for mistakes, turnovers.
Muji's a dangerous runner, and this year he's passed for almost 2,000 yards. His favorite target? Senior John Peel. He set a school record this year with 826 yards receiving.
Muji has to be a big part of our game. He does. If they're able to take away some of the things that he does, then we're probably going to struggle a little bit.
The Firebirds lost 4 running backs to injury or off-field problems this year, and they will turn to junior Billy Barron to pick up the slack. Greenway's offense revolves around running back Brandon Halverson. He leads the team with over 1,700 yards rushing and 570 yards receiving.
We got to open up the passing game, and then we can be able to run on them. You know, hopefully we'll be able to do both.
Greenway quarterback David Henry has a strong arm, and he likes to throw to Halverson or wideout Brett Martin. Both defenses notched 4 shutouts during the regular season, and Greenway coach Mike Brown says defense will be the story Saturday.
I don't predict it to be real high scoring. I think it's going to be 2 real good defenses after each other.
Greenway gets a boost this week when safety Sean Laidlaw returns after missing 6 games with a knee injury. Chaparral overcame its share of adversity this season. Coach Ron Estabrook was cited for a misdemeanor during a victory party. Starting defensive lineman Casey Solon broke his right leg against Tempe. And personnel changes forced Estabrook to revamp his offense mid-year.
We became, I think, instead of a passing team that ran, which we wanted to do this year, we became a running team that passes.
Greenway lost in the championship game last year. Chaparral state titles in '99 and 2000. Both sides say they're ready to win it all Saturday.
Just bring it. Just bring it.
Be ready, I guess, because we're coming for you, and a little redemption.
Just bring it. I love it when they have a good soundbite.
Flip a coin.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a close
As
one.
you can see from that package, it's a great matchup. You know, you look at Chaparral. Great tradition, looking for another state title. But, Paul, it hasn't been easy for them. They've had a lot of adversity this season. Their depth has carried them through.
That's right. I mean, how many teams can lose 4 running backs from the roster, lose a starting offensive lineman, and lose a starting defensive end, and still make it all the way through to the state finals? It's unbelievable. And Billy Barron is filling in a running back. He's got over 500 yards.
A lot of people thinking Chaparral might come out on top just because of their background, their experience in the playoffs, but you can't count out the Greenway Demons, Cedric. They've been there before. They're hungry. Last year, they were the Cinderella team, winning 2 games in overtime. Do you think they have enough to come out on top, especially with Brandon Halverson?
Well, with Halverson, David Henry, I mean, we watch these guys. You know, I've covered them for 2 years, watching them making their first appearances in varsity games. The level of improvement that they've made as a unit and getting better. I mean, these guys are talented players on both sides of the football, and they've got some experience. And I mean, it's going to be a battle, but it's going to be which defense can make the most plays, not the offense. Which defense can make the most plays, that's going to win that game.
Interesting.
You know, and speaking of Halverson, I'm really impressed with him because last year I remember he shared the backfield with Ben Ali. Ali got most of the carries, but Halverson's really stepped up his game. I mean, he's so shifty. Darts in and out, catches the ball extremely well on the backfield. I know last year's title game, Philo Sanchez and Victor Cunez from Sunnyside gave them all they can handle, but I like the experience that they come back with in terms of their game with
He's
Chaparral.
an all-purpose back as well. He blocks well out of the backfield, he catches passes. I mean, he just does it all. He's an all-purpose player. He can stay on the field for every down. You don't have to take him out because he can't block a big linebacker. I mean, they're a talented team.
It's going to be interesting. Halverson, 2,300 total yards. Boy, it's going to be interesting. We'll find out how it all works out. Coming up next on Friday Night Fever, Coop's been waiting for this all year long. His All-Star Fever team.
Who are you fooling? Everybody's been waiting for that. We're going to reveal it in a little bit. Plus our 4A and 5A Players of the Year, as well as Coaches of the Year. And we haven't forgotten about the Sidewinders. They're over here, as well as the Rattlers, making some noise, having some fun here tonight. Stick around, our final edition of Friday Night Fever for this season. Coming back after this break.
You can see she was a neighbor, so she ran into the...
Welcome back, everyone. You've waited long enough. I know I'm excited about this. Time to start handing out the hardware.
Let's start doing it, Kevin. You know, thanks to the Arizona Rattlers, we've been able to hand out Player of the Week awards all season long. Tonight, we're kicking it up a notch with Player of the Year award starting in Class 4A. Our 4A Offensive Player of the Year came down to these two choices. Greenway running back Brandon Halverson and Tolleson running back Marcus Thomas. Our choice unanimously is Marcus Thomas, and for good reason, because he simply had the single greatest rushing performance in Arizona high school history. He finished with 3,573 yards and also set a state record for most rushing yards in a game with 424. This is beginning to sound like a broken record, but his 5,878 career rushing yards, you guessed it, also an all-time state record. However, his 46 touchdowns this season was just 5 short of the single-season state record. Our 4A Defensive Player of the Year was another unanimous choice. Saguaro defensive lineman Kyle Caldwell. His season numbers are mind-boggling as well. He finished with 131 total tackles, 44 of them for loss, along with 20 sacks, 34 quarterback pressures, 7 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. His 3-year career totals include 334 tackles and 45 sacks. His play at times resembled that of a man among boys. That is a fact. Just some amazing performances by our Players of the Year in Class 4A. All right, we have not forgotten about the coaches either. Drum roll, please. 4A Coach of the Year for Friday Night Fever is... from Centennial High School, Richard Taylor, who led the Coyotes to an unexpected playoff berth. Taylor's club featured several sophomores at key positions, but they matured quickly and made it to the first round of the playoffs, where they lost to Greenway. Congratulations to Richard Taylor, our Friday Night Fever 4A Coach of the Year, Kevin.
Congratulations to the 4A Players of the Year as well as the Coach of the Year. All right, now for the 5A. Well, the Fever stayed up long time trying to figure out who exactly would be the winners in the Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year in the 5A division. Well, guess what? We did it. Sit back and relax. Here they are. Hamilton running back Trammell McGill, Desert Vista running back Jared Sayers, and Ironwood running back Aaron Lafitte were our top choices for 5A Offensive Player of the Year. Our winner, Ironwood's Aaron Lafitte. At 5 feet 5, Lafitte may be small in stature, but boy does he play big in games. Lafitte rushed for a 5A best 2,476 yards and 33 touchdowns for the Eagles this season. He also caught a team-leading 53 passes for 811 yards and 2 touchdowns. His quick feet, tremendous balance, and his big heart enabled him to stand tall in the wake of defenses stacked to try and stop him. Mountain View defensive back Robert Dock, Marcus Deniza defensive lineman Brett Palmer, and Brophy defensive lineman Justin Evans were our top selections for a 5A Defensive Player of the Year. And here's our winner, Mountain View's Robert Dock. On a defense that gave up only 2 touchdowns all season long and registered 30 interceptions, 14 fumble recoveries, and shut out 8 of the 13 his opponents, it was Dock leading the way. He led the team in interceptions with 8. He had 2 fumble recoveries, blocked 3 kicks, and he also totaled 69 tackles. 28 of them were unassisted. And you do not want to get hit by Doc. Trust me on that one. Cedric's over here nodding his head as well. All right, our final Arizona Rattle Award goes to the 5A Coach of the Year. Who is it, you ask? How about Mountain Ridge's Steve Bellis? He definitely got the nod for this one. In just his 2nd year at the helm, Bellis led his Mountain Lions to a perfect 10-0 regular season, winning the Northeast Region title. They went all the way to the state semifinals, where last week they lost to Ironwood, unfortunately. But congratulations to Steve Bellis, our 5A Coach of the Year.
Some good choices. All right, we got a lot more left in the show, including our Friday Night Fever All-Star team. But we're going to take it to the break.
with the Rattlers cheerleaders, the Sidewinders, ladies.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fever, everybody. You know, fewer photogs work harder than our Friday Night Fever crew. Just watch some of the stuff they have to put up with. Miami versus Globe, and Jim Carreño gets decked. Look at this. Matthew Bunny from Miami High School takes him out. But you notice he doesn't stop rolling?
Focus, focus,
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got to focus. The bird's got to stop chirping. And then we'll come back to reality there. I'll tell you, Kevin, you and I have the easy part. It's Coop, Paul Matthews are the photographers that are out there working hard.
That almost looked like the hit that you put on us at the early part of the year.
Remember that? That was a cheap shot, by the way.
That's right. We did have a flag. Well, this is a special time for everyone here on The Fever, of course, especially for you, right?
Coop, this is fun. I mean, you've been working, crunching the numbers, and...
You know what? It really is. But one thing we know for sure, the state of Arizona just continues to produce some A1 division prospects. I mean, the talent here is just unbelievable. And it wasn't easy coming up with our all-Fever team.
We start with our all-Fever first-team offense, and it's the guys in the trenches we acknowledge first, beginning with Michael Brewer from Centennial High, Seth Baker from Cactus, Mountain View's Hunter Brady, Tollison's Scott Christensen, and Corona del Sol's Mike Pollock. Pollock, number 75, is a tenacious, intense player. He recently gave an oral commitment to Dirk Cutter in ASU. He graded out at 95% pass blocking for the Aztecs and was credited with 49 pancake blocks and 18 slobber knockers, both school records. At running back, our two offensive players of the year, Ironwood's Aaron Lafitte and Tollison's Marcus Thomas. They are joined in the backfield by Coolidge running back Elijah White. White rushed for nearly 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns. He had 440 yards receiving and 9 additional touchdowns. He's only a junior with a very high ceiling. At wide receiver is Peoria's sure-handed speedster Tim Toon, joined by Valley Christian's Paul Hardiman. Hardiman caught 49 passes for 779 yards and 8 touchdowns. He added 4 touchdowns in the return game and threw 5 touchdown passes as well. At tight end, we have a tie. Desert Vista's multi-talented junior Zachary Miller, who boy is he a load to bring down at 6'5", 245 pounds. Then there's Ironwood's Corey Jenkins. Jenkins, quite frankly, is the state's best receiving tight end since Todd Heath. Jenkins had 45 receptions for 584 yards and 11 touchdowns. At quarterback, we have another tie. Ironwood's Jason Murrieta and Globe's Talmadge Hansen. Murrieta is a playmaker, plain and simple. He completed over 64% of his passes for over 2,100 yards and 18 touchdowns. His poise under pressure and ability to throw accurately on the run separate him from most. Gilbert's Michael Bronstein is a repeat member from last year's team. He is our all-Fever place kicker, while St. Mary's Nick Santa Cruz rounds out our offensive team as our kick return specialist. Santa Cruz averaged nearly 30 yards per kickoff, which included 2 returns for touchdowns. He totaled over 1,300 all-purpose yards for the Knights. He was Mr. Everything for them, place kicking as well, making 9 of 11 field goals and 32 of 33 extra points. Our all-Fever first-team defense looks this way. On the line is our player of the year, Kyle Caldwell from Saguaro. Brett Palmer from Marcos Deniza, Mountain View's Kellen Mills, and Brophy's Justin Evans. Evans, number 88, totaled 69 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. At linebacker is Tollison's Mark Spradling, Phoenix Christian's tackling machine Kyle Ging, and Hamilton's Adam Vincent. Spradling, number 22, the Wolverine starting quarterback as well, led the way defensively for Tollison with 117 total tackles. He added 3 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries. As a quarterback, he passed for nearly 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. In the secondary, we have 5A Player of the Year, Robert, 18 total tackles. He added 3 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries. As a quarterback, he passed for nearly 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. In the secondary, we have 5A Player of the Year Robert Dahlk from Mountain View, Camelback's hard-hitting Eric Anderson, Hamilton's Daniel Marshall, Corona del Sol's Chris Palmer, and Marcos Deniza's versatile and multi-talented Scott Flanagan. In addition to Flanagan's 1,500 all-purpose yards and 18 touchdowns, he totaled 86 tackles, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He also blocked a field goal, which he returned 95 yards for a score. Flanagan's teammate Esteban Bayona is our punter. He's a gifted athlete who also played wide receiver and defensive back for the Padres. He has a tremendous leg, was successful on 13 of 15 field goals, including a state best 56-yarder. Rounding out our all-fever defensive team is Mesquite's explosive Marcus Washington. In addition to his dynamics as a wide receiver and defensive back, he had 2 kick returns for touchdowns. Marcus Washington, our all-fever punt return specialist.
Now, as we talked about, it's not easy, and so many good players are left out. Cedric already has issues.
People are second guessing. You're getting second guessed.
Absolutely.
All right, well, hey, want to thank the Rattlers for joining us today. The Sidewinders with them as well. Gino Nudo, who Vice President of Operations for the Rattlers, is down here. He tells me the first game for the Rattlers a little bit earlier this year, February 2nd, right here on NBC 12. Nice. We have 11 of the Rattlers games. Stepping it up to the big network, guys. Thanks for joining us.
I like that. We want to thank the Rattlers for joining us tonight. We want to thank you for joining us all year long. In the meantime, say goodbye to the Sidewinders right here. Boogie, boogie.
Let's go, girl.